Hello, I'm Gia Mills, and I have been a celebrity makeup artist for the last 20 years. I'm also the founder of a sweat-friendly cosmetics brand, Skin in Motion, and I am absolutely fascinated by the politics of beauty and appearance and the huge impact and power of makeup. In True Reflections, we will be peeking behind the curtains and you'll find out what your favourite stars really feel about their appearance when the glare of the media is upon them. And we'll explore what beauty and attractiveness really means to them, revealing the deeper truths that often go unnoticed. So who is my guest today? My guest today is a global sensation who is helping put drag culture in the limelight. I'll just start that one again. My guest today is the global sensation who's helping put drag culture back in the limelight. She loves to challenge herself, and we've seen her do that on Drag Race UK and Celebrity MasterChef. And now she's taking on a new challenge, the London Marathon, for charities including London Friend, Switchboard LGBT+. So please welcome Kitty Scott-Claus.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, thank you very much for coming in. First of all, if people aren't seeing this on a video, they'll see if they're listening. You look absolutely sensational today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so
I'm
much.
looking forward to getting tips about makeup because I find
Here for the tips. I'm like, tell me. Whenever I meet a makeup artist or anything, I'm like, now tell me, what will you do?
it's always you look at each other's kits.
I know, literally.
It's brilliant. But I want to go back, sort of strip everything back and go back to the beginning. I want to know, you've done RuPaul, you are still this incredible woman with your makeup and everything. But where did it all start? When you were young, when did you first start wearing makeup? When did you get inspired? How did the lure of makeup and looking sensational start happening?
I think I was about I also grew up doing theatre, so I was always like, I've got my makeup for the show, I would always have like that on, and I would I think I was about 15 when I first started wearing makeup to school.
Okay.
And it was always, I have such an issue with like makeup that is marketed for men.
Yeah.
I'm like, why does it, you're putting makeup on, why does it need a gender? That's so stupid to me. I hate, and they market it like war paint. I'm like, oh my God, just slapping a bit of concealer on, get over it.
I know.
But so I think I was about 15, and it was with I think my auntie got it me for Christmas, and I remember it was like a concealer, completely the wrong color. It was so orange and so not what a concealer should be. But I used to put it on, and I would not blend it out properly, and it would be awful.
Probably not looking in a light enough mirror and not realising.
Literally,
Yeah.
and then going to school and people being like, "Have you got makeup on?" And being like, "No." Thinking I'm unclockable.
Did she buy it for you? Had she sort of seen that you were kind of having tendencies to want to wear makeup, or to cover spots? What was the reason?
I think it was because I was very flamboyant, shock horror, and very artistic, and I loved I grew up having Barbies and Bratz dolls and all that, and so I was always very that way inclined, and so it was here's a bit of concealer, and I think there was an eyebrow do you remember the tinted gel that you put through your eyebrows? So it was one of those, and I remember just being obsessed with it and just being oh my God, and not really thinking too much of it. Also, when I was at school, all the girls would be all over the Dream Matte mousse.
Yes, they're Maybelline.
All over the Dream Matte mousse. Disgusting. Now I think about it.
I love it that you were kind of having the confidence to actually put the makeup on, and there at least now there is war paint and stuff. But back in when you were younger, they didn't have anything that you felt you could kind of use, and often boys got it so wrong. All my male friends, you'd see all their spots they've got to put bad concealer on.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I do a lot of male grooming, so men who go on a red carpet. And, there's all sorts of products we use. And now you can go online and you can find ways as someone, if you were 15 again now, you'd find brilliant things that you could use.
Totally.
So was it a bit of a challenge? Did you find it really difficult?
Definitely. I think because it was literally the blind leading the blind. No one I knew was wearing makeup. Nobody, no other boys at school were wearing makeup. It was I was the only one that was was doing it. And it wasn't even because I had like spots or anything, or I was trying to like cover that. I just think it was the glamour of wearing makeup that I was attracted to.
So that was the lure. That was the lure. It was the perception of the glamour, the sort of Hollywood, the sort of stars that you looked up to. That was where you felt the draw. And it's like, I can be part of that by putting on a bit of concealer.
Totally.
And how did it make you feel, regardless of how you actually looked? The concealer was good or bad.
You cannot tell me anything. I was so confident with it. I was literally like, I look $1 million. I look incredible. And it's like, looking back now, you look at pictures and you're like, oh my God, hon, you got it so wrong. But it's like that naivety and that like just eagerness to like, I've got makeup on, you know, like just like the excitement of it and feeling the glamour.
And who did you look to? Who were the sort of icons of beauty that you was at that sort of age that you went, I want to look like that?
For me, it was all like wag culture. So like Victoria Beckham, Colleen Rooney, Cheryl Cole, and then like mixing that with like Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, like Britney Spears, like pop stars, like that sort of side of it. I was always so inspired by the Spice Girls. What I loved so much about them is that like they were all so different, but they were also like proudly like themselves.
Yes.
And you could like, you had a Spice Girl that you like connected to, you resonated with, and it was like, oh my God, like brilliant marketing.
Who did you identify with?
Baby. 100%.
You've got the beautiful blonde hair, the bow, the very feminine pink dress. So you are channeling Baby. I think I was more Victoria.
I was going to say I get posh.
A bit poshish, but not really. I don't know. I was a bit older, so I kind of looked. I didn't quite identify in the way, but I think they were brilliant for young aspiring teens to have someone to kind of look to.
Totally.
And the confidence. So when did you then have the confidence to start putting like serious makeup on and start putting your kind of female clothes on? What sort of age were you?
I think so. I went to theatre school instead of going to university, and like did like the whole drama school route. And then when I left drama school, I was working as an actor, and the parts I was not very good because I don't think I'm a very good actor, but the parts I would only ever get were like drag queens or like pantomime dames or ugly sisters. So it was then that I would first like, right, now it's like smack on the makeup, put the face on, quick. I started doing drag full-time when I was 25.
Okay.
So that was like 4 years after I graduated from
So you weaned yourself in it. It was sort of like it was permissible and allowed. So you didn't have to suddenly go, hi guys, hi family. This is the look I love. It was more, you're wearing that look because you're allowed to, in a sense, inverted commas allowed, because you are playing a part in a show.
Yeah.
And how did it make, when you first kind of put those outfits on and for big makeup, etc., how did you feel inside? What did it do to you?
Do you know, when I remember the first time I did Ugly Sister, I got a call from the producer being like, she was like, you need to sort your makeup out. And I was like, what? Hey, what do you mean? And she was like, because you've done like beautiful makeup. You look too pretty to be an ugly sister. You're making Cinderella look bad. I was like, oh, that is the nicest compliment in the world. I remember going to see the Ugly Sister being like, I just had this ogle. He was like, I've got that. I was like, well.
which I think is fascinating, because obviously you're so well known for being in RuPaul's Drag Race, and you were in it twice.
Yes.
Now, what I want to know is that changing room must have been phenomenal, because you guys, I mean, I have envy of how you guys put your makeup on in watching that show. What was it like in backstage, the rivalries, the makeup? Did you nick each other's makeup? Did people sort of, did you kind of put weird things in other people's sort of makeup to make it not work? And I don't know.
Oh my God, no, I wish I should have done that. It was like totally what you see on screen.
Yeah.
It's totally like, you go into it, and I remember thinking like, oh my God, this is wild. This is Drag Race. Like, I've grown up watching this show. And then like you go in and you're like, oh, it literally is what it looks like on TV. The lighting is not as good as you think it's going to be. For doing makeup as well, like, because it's all like TV, like lighting and everything. But when they turn all that off, you've just got downwards lighting. And so you're just there like trying to get your makeup on, like, with like whatever. So you'd be there like trying to get the light, whichever way you can.
So did they give you any makeup, or did you bring your own makeup?
Bring your own. Which is good, because then it's like, what you're dealing with, like the products you like, you know, like
and
hearing
you're
that.
comfortable. Do they have makeup artists there who kind of check you and do touch-ups, or do they like you to sort of like, this is part of the competition, the skill?
Oh yeah, no, it's totally on you.
Yeah.
There is literally like, there you go. See you on the runway.
How did you feel when you saw yourself on camera? You know, because you've obviously seen yourself on stage, you've probably filmed yourself with your phone, but actually seeing yourself on telly, on the big screen
Yeah.
with the makeup, how did that feel?
Do you know what? I think like makeup for me is ever evolving. And I like what I try and remember is like at the time I remember feeling so confident and so proud of how I looked and all the things, you know, all the things you'd want to feel. I look back now and I'm like, God, I would do it so differently. Like the eye shape, I'm like, oh, it's so small. Like, why did it go bigger? Like, do a bolder crease, you know, like just thinking of like different things that I would do. I love the glossy lips. I always
Well, you
love.
look, I mean, I want to know what products that you know, that you use. Because obviously you probably used, you know, the evolution of what, as you say, and it keeps changing. And
Totally.
I have my own brand, and I know that the science, you know, the cosmetic chemists, they are just getting better and better. So you're just, you know, all these new brands coming out. So talk me through kind of some of the products you used historically that didn't work, and I want to know what you use now.
Oh, okay.
I love your lips and I love your lashes. I want to know those two in particular.
Okay, lashes.
Yeah.
I literally go, I think these are tatty lashes.
Nice.
But like one pair. I know drag queens are like big, huge eyelashes. I'm like, I don't like.
But they're very feline, they're beautiful.
Yeah, and I feel like if you put them on in the right way, it gives you the drama.
Do you put them on so you don't go follow the eye?
Yeah, no, don't follow the eye. I follow the eyeliner.
Yes.
So then it's like it lifts
It's
in
the
the corners,
feline.
and then yeah.
Because if you've got droopy eyes,
Yeah.
and you put lashes on, they can bring your lashes down.
And you
if
don't
they
want that
don't.
because it makes you look sad.
Exactly. And I'm always, today I put lashes on for you. These are brilliant ones that literally you stick underneath the lash rather than on top. And they're already sticky, so you don't need to use glue. It's brilliant.
Oh
And
wow.
it's good. It's with a subtle danger.
Do you know what? I became allergic to the glue that I was using.
Duo?
Also, no, never. That would never work for me. I have gone through it with the glues.
Yeah.
When I first started, because I was doing like pantomime dame, I was using Copydex. Yeah, Carpe Glue.
Use Copydex.
It was fine. It would hold really well through the sweat and everything. And then I went on to using Weave Bond, like black Weave Bond, which was really good. But then I started to get an allergic reaction to it. So then my eyes would like swell up. So then I went to a Tatty Lashes, like latex free, which again, it was better, but it still was making my eyes swell. So now I literally get this one off like Amazon and it's like completely unbranded. I don't know. I just searched like latex free
Okay.
eyelash glue and it seems to be working.
Well, that's great.
Out.
We found something. I mean, makeup artists, we always swear by Duo, which is the sort of go-to, and it's great. But I think it's always, you know, it's quite expensive, so it's nice to find other ones. And there's an Amazon one.
Oh my God, I'll send you the link. I'll send you the
know.
link. So those my eyelashes and then lips. I have like all the lip colours in the world and whatever and all the combos. I just do the same one every single time.
Yeah.
I do an oak lip liner by MAC and then the outer corners I do with Whirl Lipstick and then Honeylove in the centre.
No, and Honeylove is that the Fenty? Honeylove.
Honeylove is MAC.
Oh, that's MAC as well.
And
So you're a
then I
MAC
do
lip
a
girl.
MAC lip and then a Fenty gloss every single time. Fussy.
Well, it's beautiful, and
you.
you just have this look. You look like baby.
Oh,
literally, the price girl.
Thank you.
I love it because I often wear lip liner, but I've got small lips, and I'm not a big makeup wearer, although I'm a makeup artist. And I think it's, you know, I was chatting to my camera guy beforehand, and he was saying, God, it's so easy being a guy often.
Yeah.
Because I was going, I actually forgot my makeup today. I haven't powdered myself, and I'm
No, you look
panicking.
gorge.
I'm panicking that I'm like, I haven't powdered, and I'm like, oh, you know, supposed to be a makeup artist and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, well, it's so much easier to be a guy.
Yeah.
So what I'm also intrigued about with you is you can live in two worlds.
Yeah.
And I want to understand more about those two worlds. So when you are Louis, when you're at home, and versus when you are getting dressed up as Kitty, those two worlds and the different products you use. What do you use that's different? Do you have a day-to-day makeup
look?
Yeah.
It depends, because if I'm at home doing nothing, I won't put any makeup on. I'll do like, I love skincare. I love like a decent skincare routine.
Top product?
Charlotte Tilbury Magic Cream.
Okay.
Love, love, love.
Great.
What else do I love? I've recently got these tanning drops. I can't remember the brand.
Oh, there's
but
some
I
good tanning
literally
drops
just
out
boom,
there.
boom, boom, 3 little drops for a little glow. gorgeous.
My favourite are the Amanda Harrington ones, although they've stopped being made for now. But they are incredible because they just give you that glow.
Yeah, that's what I love. And I've really got into it was all over TikTok shop, the hydrochloric acid.
Hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic acid, that's the one.
Oh, the weird pronunciations.
And oh my God, really tell the difference. I've also recently got this Korean Korean face mask, which you sleep in and you wake up the next morning and like it's a face mask and you put it on and then you like peel it off the next morning and your skin is like glass underneath. You're like, wow.
Oh my God. Do you know what make it is?
I will find it and I will
we can put it in show notes and stuff.
So good though, so good.
I love, as you said before, makeup people who love makeup. When as a makeup artist we get together and we're like, oh, what's that? How do you do that? How does that work? And I think that's why I wanted to start the podcast, because it's lovely to share this sort of information.
Totally.
And it's such a joyful thing.
Yeah.
And makeup has such power. And I think for you, understanding, so when you do transition between, from your day to day, how does that make you feel? What do you feel when you're like dressed up as Kitty? What does that, the makeup make you feel inside?
I think more than anything, I find it fun. I love doing makeup. I think when I first started doing drag, I found it like a chore because I would be like, put the makeup on, like that's not what I enjoy the most. I enjoy the performing side of it. But I feel like the more I've done drag and the longer I've done it, the more it becomes like my therapy. It becomes my like time to just like, okay, chill, I'll have a cup of tea. I'll do my makeup and I'll put some music on and I'll listen to a podcast or I'll call a friend, and it's like taking that time for yourself that I'm just like, oh, I love it. It's like a moment of calm before the craziness.
You need to give yourself the time, because if you're in a rush, it's so stressful.
But then also it's like, I mean, especially doing Drag Race, they'll be like, you've got 40 minutes to do your face, and you're like, oh my God. But they'll be like, that includes like your wig has to be on, like your outfit has to be on, everything, like corset, everything. So like, oh my God.
So you need to put stuff on your legs.
Crazy, everything.
Get everything ready. God, that is not much time. Because when you go and do a makeup job, you've usually got, it's usually just for makeup, you'd like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then hair, it can be anything up to an hour. So often you like to have sort of 2 hours hair and makeup. I just would do it if one person is doing both. But if you've got to do both and you're going on telly and the stresses
and everything, and you're just there like, oh my God, like how are we going to make this work? But you know what? You always do. You always make it work.
Now, there's something that's really interesting. They have done a survey with men and women, and men, on the attractiveness scale, they always think of themselves as a lot more attractive than they probably often are. Whereas conversely, women see themselves as way less attractive on the attractiveness scale than they probably are. And because you've kind of embodied both two, do you think you take your sort of the cliche, let's say, male confidence in their attractiveness into being Kitty? Or do you feel that you do embody that sort of female, I'm just not, that panic that we women have?
Do you know, I think it's like, it depends on the day. It depends on the day you ask me, because like one day I'll be like, if I'm in like full drag, I'll be like, you cannot tell me anything. I am glamour, I am gorgeous, I am everything. But then if you like literally the next day I'll be like, oh, like this went wrong and like my lip liner didn't go to plan and like, oh, I could have blended my eyeshadow out a bit more, like little things like that I'll be like, it'll be like stupid things like no one else will notice, nobody else will see, but I'll know, and I'll just be there like, oh, I could have done that better.
So and in the moment, do you feel that sort of high level of attractiveness, like I am killing it, or have you got it secretly in the back of your head going, oh shit, the lip liner wasn't good?
Oh, always in the back of your head.
It's always in the back of your head.
Yeah, totally. And like, you could literally be like talking to someone and you'll be like, I'll be like, all of a sudden think like, they've realised the lip liners have gone wrong. They've realised, you start talking like this. You're like,
me.
Oh God.
It is really weird because, when you do contrast the two, literally the male issues, men tend to think about their bodies. They love their bodies because it works.
Yeah.
Women, and that's what they kind of like judge themselves on, whereas women are much more about, it's appearance. It's not like, does my body work, which is actually kind of what we should be thinking.
Totally.
It's more to do with how am I looking, because the cultural norms dictate that women often have to look a certain way. And you get to live in these two worlds. And I think it's really interesting that you kind of sounds like you do become more of that female mindset because you're panicking. Is my lip liner right? Is this right?
Totally. But then I think it translates across to when I'm like out of drag. If I'm going out as a boy, I'll do like a light B. I'll do like well, I'll say it's a subtle face and it'll still be like a strong brow. And I'll be like, oh, I'm presenting so masculine today. But like at the same time when I'm in boy drag, I'll still be like, oh, my eyebrows have gone wrong, or like something, it's still like that is going, maybe that's just being a makeup wearer, that it's like, and always like striving for perfection.
Yeah, and I think you do also, I'm a makeup artist, and I often feel people judge me on my makeup, and likewise you probably feel judged on your makeup because you're, coming from being a man to putting makeup on. So we probably both feel very judged.
Totally.
Because people are looking at you going, well, you're not, you haven't originally started as a woman.
No.
And kind of had all that learning growing up.
Yeah.
Sort of stereotypical stuff. So we both feel slightly judged. And it's like for us to kind of go, actually, who cares? I'm just me. And it's kind of always trying to get into that headspace within oneself to go, actually, sod that. And I'm always working on myself with that. How do you feel? How does that resonate?
Yeah, totally. I think it's like just like allowing yourself to be like, okay, do you know what? Nobody else is going to notice. Nobody else is going to be like clocking, like everyone else. I think the thing is, everyone is so focused on themselves that no one is going to be like, oh God, like I wish you'd done your eyeliner a bit better. Like nobody cares. Like
I love that. And it's so true. And actually almost sometimes if you do make a fail, they kind of like you more because you're not being too perfect.
Exactly. So it's like, do you know what? Like own it.
Yeah. I think there is something rather beautiful in when you're not being too perfect and when we can let go of that sort of, perfection, holding on to that complete perfection. I think it feels good and liberating.
It feels like way more genuine as well. You see like the real human beneath it all.
So I think the next thing I want to ask is we are going to see the real you in many ways, your sort of ability to challenge yourself. And we're going to see probably or maybe not with so much makeup on when you do the marathon, which you are doing London Marathon this year, which I'm so happy you're doing it because I know how amazing you can feel when you've done the marathon. So talk me through that journey and how you decided to do it and the charities most importantly, which I always love to know about.
Well, I completely like fell into it by accident. I'd never really ran before. I'd done Couch to 5K back in 2020 when like all the gyms had shut with COVID and everything. And I remember I got to the end of the 8-9 weeks or whatever it is, and I still couldn't run a 5K. I couldn't run a 5K in half an hour, and I was like, well, what's the point in this? I'm clearly not a runner. And then back in the summer of 2023, I started a fitness journey, and over the course of that, I've lost like just under 8 stone. So yeah.
Well, I hope, congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
hope it feels empowered.
Yeah. Oh my
to do
God.
that.
So empowered. And it was when I was on the weight loss journey that every year, Jeremy Joseph, who I'm running the marathon with from GAY, he organises a stage at mile 21 called the Rainbow Row. And I'm always on there hosting and like cheering people on. And it's the most amazing day, like getting to be at the marathon and just seeing there and like embracing the energy of the day is just amazing. And it was last year, he like brought all the queens down when he was like running the marathon, and he like stopped and he was like, I'm going to challenge one of you to run it with me next year. And then he asked me and I was like, okay, I didn't think anything of it. I was like, sure. Never ran before in my life. And then it was like, oh God, like the realization of being like, I've got to run a marathon. I've got to run 26.2 miles next year. Like what? Like how is that going to happen? But I've loved it. I've loved like the journey of it. I've done, how many halves have I done now? Like half marathons, I've done 3, I think it is.
Isn't it amazing how a year ago if someone had said to you, you'd be able to do this?
I know.
You'd just be, no way. I mean, I did one about 10 years ago, and it is literally the most incredible thing.
Yeah.
And you look back and think, oh, half marathon, that's nothing.
I know.
After a marathon.
Literally.
And you just feel, it's such a wonderful thing for your self-esteem and your confidence. But tell me, what charities are you doing it for? Because that's always the big thing.
Yeah. So we are raising money for 4 amazing charities. We're raising money for Sahir House, which is a Liverpool-based charity, which Vivian was a patron of.
Oh, yes.
So it's really amazing to be able to run it and do it in Viv's legacy,
Yeah.
So that feels amazing. We're doing it for Antidote London Friend, Switchboard, and Pancreatic Cancer UK, which is the main sponsor of the marathon. So to get to do it for for incredible charities, it just makes it all like so much more worthwhile.
Because when you're running and you see people's T-shirts and they're like, I'm running it for my dad or running it for this charity, or
God.
you literally, I'm always crying. I
Yeah.
cried doing the marathon. I used to go up and watch it and I always burst into tears.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh my God, this is humanity at its best, and it's
It
so
really
beautiful.
is, and it's so like it really is just the most like life affirming day of the year. If people said to me before, like, what's the best day of the year, I would be like Pride in London is the best day, and now I'm like, it's London Marathon.
Yeah.
100%. Like just seeing like the humanity and seeing like, oh my God, just the best of humankind.
Doing something for a charity.
Yeah.
And it's, it's what's crazy is there are so many people who want to run the London Marathon that actually it's really hard to get on, and you often have to raise a lot of money for those charities beforehand in order to get into the marathon. It just seems counterintuitive. It's like, I don't need to run a marathon. But I think the people that do it and the amount of money that charities get, it's so beautiful. And I'm next wanting to know, are you going to be wearing any makeup?
Yes.
And what makeup are you kind of planning on? What's your look going to be? Are you going to wear any outfits? Are you going to do anything?
Of course, I'm an attention seeker. I'm like Tinkerbell. I need the applause or I'm going to die. And all my half marathons we've done so far, I've done out of drag, and I've been like, oh my God, this is so much fun. But imagine how much more fun it would be to do it in drag.
What's the plan?
So when I say we're doing it in drag, I'm doing it in, so because it was like, I'm not doing it in like a corset and heels, like, oh my God,
No.
no way.
No.
I want to do the marathon well. So we're doing it in like, I've got like some like ladies sportswear, which I'm going to like bedazzle and stone and like drag up, but making sure that it's still functioning as like sportswear.
Yeah, you need it. You don't want anything to slow you down.
Exactly.
It's hard enough as it is.
This is the thing. I think what we're going to do hair-wise is I'm going to do like a cap with like a ponytail through it, because I was running a cap.
Okay,
So
well,
I'm
that's
like,
good. You've been training
I've
in
been
it. So it
training.
will feel
So then if
natural.
I put like a wig on the back of a cap, perfect. That'll be easy for me. And then makeup-wise, I'm currently trying to find like products that will last. I had my friend Electra Fence, who was on my season of Drag Race UK. She ran it last year, and she did really well. Like she did it in full drag and everything, and she looked amazing. It was her wig that popped off like 1 mile in, and I was like, this is what I'm looking at now. I'm going to be there like, right, what happened when?
Lesson learned.
Yeah, so I'm literally there like, maybe I sew it onto a headband, maybe I do this. The makeup held. I think like, again, it's like eyelashes and like stuff like that. So I'm just like, at the moment, trying to find products.
Well, top tips. So I've kind of done a lot of research into sweat-friendly makeup. So my brand is Skin in Motion, is basically sweat-friendly. And we every year do, when people go to get their badges and stuff from the XL, we are there and we have our sweat-friendly makeup. So people come and they're like, I want a mascara that when I run over the finish line, that final shot, I just want to feel a bit more done.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lovely thing about the confidence. You don't need to wear it, but if it makes you feel a bit more confident,
Exactly.
it's a lovely thing to do. But you don't want something that's got all the panda eyes and wrinkle down your face and clogging your pores. So we have a tinted moisturizer that's breathable and sweat-proof, so it's not going to clog your pores. It's not super heavy, but the really good product if you want really full coverage, the one that stays on forever, is one by Shiseido. There's a sport one and it really does stay on. But if you want the more natural look, go for our Skin and Motion, the tinted moisturizer.
Gorgeous.
We have a lift it mascara that literally stays on for the marathon, but if you're going to wear lashes, I think you might need to go completely seriously hardcore glue, but do train beforehand with it so you can see if your eyes are going to
Totally.
So those are the key ones. And I think you can almost use those like certain MAC products, like inks that you can literally use on your brows, etc.
Yeah.
Which literally won't move.
Will literally not budge.
Yeah.
I mean, I know drag queens that use Sharpies on their faces. It's like, they're like, this isn't going to budge. It's like, it's also not going to come off ever. Like,
quite a lot of toxins in them as well.
like you've got a winged liner to go to the shops like every day now.
Oh my God. Well, and are you and clothing wise, what are you obviously going to have your bedazzled? Because I wore a tutu. I was going to wear wings, but I decided that would just be annoying and rub my arm.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's trying to find. So I'm like, when I was like finding outfits to wear, I was like, what do I actually wear when I run in? Like when I go running normally? And it's like, it's always like just a pair of shorts or like with a pair of like leggings underneath. And so it's like, okay, well, if I did like this and this, then that's similar to that and that, and I'll obviously like try it before I go, you know. And so trying to like replicate what I do when I run normally for the actual marathon. It's going to be fun though. I'm so excited.
That is the most amazing feeling, and I would love you to send me photographs.
Oh my God,
when
will
you're
do,
done,
will
the before
do.
and after, and kind of go, it stayed. Okay, the hat stayed good. How's the makeup? How's it staying? Because I think we're never sitting still, and we like makeup needs to work with us, and it's always finding products that actually work when you're living. We don't just sit and like, here's my makeup.
No,
and we just don't move.
I hate. Do you know what? There's nothing I hate more when like if there's one lip gloss, like it's the MAC lip gloss.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Which I love.
Everything sticks.
Love. But I'm like, that's a photo shoot.
Yeah.
That is for a photo shoot and nothing more. Like you can't do anything in it.
Everything sticks. Like your hair, if there's a bit of wind, your hair is.
Oh my God,
completely
straight
stuck.
into it, and you're like Velcro. Then it's like, oh my God, horrific.
So, another question I really wanted to know, and I think is a sort of kind of going deeper into you. Going from putting makeup on, do you feel that it's a lovely way to kind of hide parts of you? I.e., do you think there's something that you might be hiding about Louis when you put makeup?
No, I think like the opposite. I think it's like accentuating. It's like, oh my God, like these are the features that like, obviously I've had like fillers and like Botox and whatnot, but it is like about celebrating like the face you've been given. And it's like, oh my God, here I am. Look at me.
I love that, because I think it is, as a woman, when putting makeup on, I love it because it is about enhancing what you've got, and it's not about hiding anything.
Yeah.
I mean, the odd spot and a bit of redness.
I was going to say, well, if you have like a little bit of redness, a little spot, then it's like, oh my God, concealer is amazing.
But as a person,
Yeah.
you're more actually wanting people to see you.
Totally. And I think as well with like drag, everyone like, they're always like, is there a real transformation when you put the makeup on, when you put the wig on? And for me, I'm like, no, like I'm literally the same in drag, out of drag. It doesn't like, there's no real like, the diva has arrived, you know, like I'm like, give or take. It's
Do you find other people are like that they are
there's
different
some
people?
that like it'll be a completely different person. It's like, oh my God, there's a different person in the room now. And it's like, for me, I'm like, oh my God, no, because I'm the same.
Yeah.
Regardless of if I've got the makeup on or not. But then it's like, it's what works for you, really.
No, it is, and I think it's your self-expression. So it's basically turning up the volume of who you already are, and makeup allows you to do that. And I think if you're a creative person, like you've done a lot of theatre, etc.
Yeah.
It is an accentuation of that, and I think it allows you to be creative and really bring yourself to life. But also, I think, it's interesting how how do you think the media has changed in their view on people who like to kind of drag queens, that whole thing? How do you think that's changed from when you were possibly younger to now?
I think definitely like with shows like Drag Race, it is pushing drag queens and queer artists to the forefront, which is great. I mean, growing up, I never saw anyone like me on TV. I mean, we had Lily Savage,
Dame Edna.
but there was no one really like, they were all like much older, and I was like, I couldn't like connect the two in my head, and it wasn't until I started watching like Drag Race that I was like, oh my God, like I get it now. I get like, oh my God, it's all like falling into place. And so like getting to be the person that you didn't see on TV when I was growing up, at least.
You're a good role model for the young kids coming up to know that you can do it, and it's just a lovely thing to embrace embrace what you feel inside and who you want to be.
If you want to wear the makeup, wear the lip gloss.
No, I'm all about that. People just wear whatever you like.
Exactly.
And last question. I love, you were in MasterChef.
Yeah.
Incredible. I can't cook to save my life, and I love watching it. Do you think that the media like to bring in certain sort of demographics of people as a sort of the token, because I think there's someone called Ginger who's coming in this season. Do you think that they like to bring certain people in to go, okay, we're ticking the diversity-ish box?
Oh, I mean, I totally thought that was the case. I thought, in my head, I was like, I'll be here for one episode. I'll be here, I'll be a bit rubbish, and they'll send me home. They'll be like, thank you so much for your time. Here's your car. And it was every week I was literally like, oh my God. I remember like calling my manager being like, they've kept me here like another week. I don't know what's going on. Like, and he's like, you're clearly decent. And I was like, maybe I'm just funny. I don't know. But I remember thinking like, it is like, oh, I'm a diversity hire here. But I think like maybe that was the case, but like
sometimes it's great.
Exactly.
Because it's like I get a chance to go onto something and it's great because you get to sort of be, so kids at home probably can see you and go,
Totally.
actually, this is great exposure. So it's great that they are. I think it's a real positive.
100%. And like the fact that the world is, I mean, I feel like we can always do more for diversity. And like, I feel like until there's a point, when there comes a point when we don't have to think about like, oh, let's have a diverse cast, that's when we
Or even talk about it.
Exactly. That's when we know we've done a good job.
Yeah.
But I think like totally it's like grabbing the opportunities that come to you and like making the most of them.
Take advantage of it, I think.
Totally.
Is the key thing. But I must say, Kitty, I've loved chatting to you today.
Oh,
and I'm
so
really
much.
excited
Yeah.
about your marathon. And I'm going to be watching you because I do watch it on the Sunday morning. I'm going to be like, how's the makeup looking? And I won't be judging. I'll just be celebrating.
No, please judge. We feel like.
Kitty, thank you so much for coming on. Tell me one last time who the charity is that you're running for and how people can donate to you.
We are running for Sahir House, London, Antidote London Friend, Switchboard and Pancreatic Cancer UK, and you can donate by clicking the link in my bio on all my social media.
Brilliant. And also you can do it by searching for your fellow runner, Jeremy Joseph's page as well.
On TCS.
On TCS, which is amazing. So that is it for True Reflections this week. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe wherever you are watching or listening. You can find me across social media by searching at True Reflections Podcast. And if you want to find out what I'm up to in my sweat-friendly cosmetics brand, Skin in Motion, follow on at skin.in.motion. I'll be back next week with another celebrity to talk through their beauty experiences, their favourite products, and delve deeper into how the ideals of beauty shapes not just our physical appearances, but also the core of our identities. Until then, have a lovely week.